What is up, friends? You guys have made it to the final stage of the processing series, where now we're going to be talking about sound sculpting and just a basic primer into sound design. So let's just get right into it. I'm going to go over to the browser window here, go to samples, and there are literally thousands of these that you can just drag right into your project and go crazy with. You just pull right into your timeline and into an audio track. But I went ahead and bookmarked one that I liked. It's up here in my collections. It's a bell. Very cool. I'm going to drag that into my audio track, into the timeline. I don't think I'm going to need these MIDI tracks, so I'll just delete those. And I'm probably going to just drag my loop brace right onto the bell and turn that thing on so I don't have to keep playing it. Okay, so I've got that kind of attack sound at the beginning where, you hear the bell get hit. And then we've got all this cool harmonic stuff after it's rung out that we could probably do something cool with as well. So what I think I'll do first is just make a cut right in the middle of the clip here. Go Control click, split. And I'm going to move this one out of the way for now. I might use that at some point. And I will lower my loop brace down to just this one. I think that might sound cool if I reverse it. I can do that by hitting R on my keyboard or just Control down to reverse clip will do the same thing. Okay, I'm just going to reduce the size of this clip so we just get the middle of that sound. Okay, I'm going to add a little bit of reverb over here on the reverb send that we talked about in the last video. I think I want a little bit of a bigger reverb on here, so I'm going to open up my return track and I'm going to go over to the decay time and turn that up. Here, if I turn it down all the way, it tends to be a little more subtle. I want this thing really just to ring out. Now I'm going to go over to my audio effects in the browser, and I'm going to go search for a plugin called Grain Delay, and I'm going to drag that right onto the bell. And you can see that it pops up here in my audio effects window as well. So I'm going to start messing with some of these knobs here and just follow me as I go. Cool, I'm liking that. Pretty sinister sounding. I'm going to search now for a plugin called Saturator, and I'm going to pull that right onto my chain. Maybe I'll put that in front. And the reason being is that these effects work from left to right. So the signal is going to hit this plugin first and this one over here last. So it can affect the tone. I just encourage you to kind of play with it and flip things around and see what you get. But for now, I'm going to change the frequency that this saturation or distortion comes in at, something down 170 hertz. And I'm going to turn the output down because I don't want my ears to get blown out when I turn this drive knob up here. We are well on our way to the perfect horror movie soundtrack. I love it. Okay, I'm gonna search for a third effect here called chorus. The chorus is gonna give me kind of a cool doubling effect. And you've got this whole little window here in a lot of these plugins that you can just drag this thing around. And what it does is just pull from all these different parameters. It's really fun. In the last video, I showed you how to automate by just kind of playing it like an instrument. You can do that by hitting the record button up here. As long as nothing is armed, it's just going to record automation. So let's give that a shot. And you can see that it did automate that because it's got these red dots here, which means that automation is affecting this chorus plugin. Now, if this is a little bit too intense and I want a little bit of my dry signal back, some of the original sound, what I could do is create an audio effect rack. And I'm going to go ahead in the audio effects and search audio effect rack, drag it down right into the front. And what I'll do is select all of these, hold shift while I do that, and pull it into my audio effect rack. Now, when I grab this button here, this is going to give me the chain. This is cool because I can create multiple chains here. I go control click, and I'm going to name this one dry. And you can name these by going control click rename. This one will be wet. So that first one, wet, has all the effects that I just created on it. And then the dry one doesn't have anything on it. So if I want to, I could turn this wet one down. Could even add a third one in here, maybe with some delay that'll bounce back and forth between my left and right ears. Let's do that by going into the audio effects and search delay. And I'm just going to drag that right into my audio effect rack on that chain that I just made. Now I've got 3 chains, the original one, the dry one with nothing on it, just the totally raw signal from up here, and then this delay down here. And what I want to do is, just so I can hear what I'm doing, I'm going to turn these first 2 chains down a little bit and go back to my third one with the delay. And what I love to do is just take this anchor, this connection point off, so the left and the right are no longer delaying at the same speed. We can actually change these delay times. Okay, I am definitely digging that. So the last thing here that I'll probably do is go back to my original the second half of that clip that I never ended up using. Wow, that delay has a lot of feedback on it. It's still going. So I can make a cut here. Go ahead and split that, and I'm just gonna probably drag this down into my next audio track, and I'm doing that because I'm probably going to want to pan it to a different side. This one's to the center right now, and I think I want to probably put this new sound maybe into my left ear. I'll turn it down a little bit. Add some reverb on it. And I'm going to go ahead and double click on that. And when I do that, I get this down here. This is the clip menu. So what I can do in the clip menu, and then every clip is going to have its own clip menu, depending on which one that you click. But when I'm down here, I have several different options. Of course, we talked about warping before. We've also got these cool transpose functions, and I'm going to go ahead and turn that up to maybe 7. And I started adding some delay, and I'm kind of liking that. I think I'll maybe drag a delay pedal onto it, or a delay plugin onto it, just so I can adjust this a little bit finer. I think I'll turn the feedback way up on it. I kind of like that bouncing between both ears. If I wanted to control that, I could also automate that as well. And we did that in the last video, but I'm just going to go ahead and click record. Okay, and I think I got it there. If I go into my automations menu, you see that mixer track panning. Okay, I did get that automation that I recorded. Close that back up. And maybe I'll start copying and pasting these over a little bit. And then maybe I'll transpose this next one in the clip menu up to maybe 9 steps. One thing I could do here, instead of automating that, I'm going to undo that automation that I just made when I panned it back and forth between the left and right ear. And I'm going to go search under audio effects for a plugin called Auto Pan. And this is going to automatically pan that sound between my left and my right ear. I turn up the amount, and I can control it either by hertz, the frequency, or I can select the beats. So let's say maybe at a quarter note, it's going to be bouncing back and forth to my left and right ear every quarter note. I'm going to go ahead and create a new audio track now. And I'm going to grab one more clip here. And drag this thing down. And I'll drag that to my new audio track. And I'm going to pan this one all the way to the right. Maybe I want to pull some of these frequencies out here. I've got a lot going on. So I'll go to EQ under the audio effects, and I'll grab an EQ, and I'm just going to pull that onto the bell. Maybe I don't really need all this bell. I'll create a high pass filter. Just pull this thing all the way up. So this is the one that we're affecting here. So you can hear I took all that low sound out. And maybe I'll do something similar on my master track here. So this is where we're going to land for the day. I'm going to go ahead and search for one last audio effect called auto filter. Now, when I pull effects on my master track down here, they work pretty much the same as they do on tracks, except these are going to affect every single thing in my project. So you'll notice on the auto filter, as I pull this down, this is going to start pulling all the high frequencies out, and that's going to pull them out of my entire project. You've got all these different cool filters here that you can work with. So there's some basic effects to get you guys going. I hope you have lots of fun doing this. There is so much to dig into with Ableton in terms of processing and effects. So have fun, and I will see you in the next one.